Good afternoon, everyone. In this chapter, we will discuss the elements of the voluntary turnover. Why do employees quit? But first, we need to define what is turnover, how to calculate it, and how can an enterprise be able to manage turnover. The outline. Number 1, what is turnover? Number 2, what are the two types of turnover? Number 3, reason for turnover, voluntary turnover. Number 4, theories of job satisfaction. Number 5, the cause of turnover. Number 6, managing turnover. What is turnover? Rate at which an employer loses employees. Employer turnover refers to the number of percentage of workers who leave an organization and replaced by new employers. Higher turnover may be harmful to a company's productivity, especially if skilled workers are often leaving and the worker population contains a higher percentage of apprentice workers. An aid to estimate the cost to hire for budget purpose in the context of human resource management, turnover or staff turnover, labor turnover is the rate at which an employer loses employees. It indicates the time period employers change to stay. There are two types of turnover, the voluntary turnover and involuntary turnover. Voluntary turnover. Employer resignation due to some reason like they may be accepting employment with another company, relocating to a new area, or dealing with a personnel matter that make it impossible to work. Involuntary turnover. Employer termination for poor job performance, absenteeism, or the violation of workplace policies is called voluntary turnover, also referred to as termination, hiring or discharge, layoff or reduction of workforce by the company. In this chapter, we will focus on voluntary turnover, since higher rate only is harmful to the company. Reason for voluntary turnover. There could be many reasons why employers quit their job. We will discuss common reasons in this chapter. Number 8, a poor match between the job and the skill of the employer. This issue is directly related to the recruitment process. Hiring an unskilled employer could make a frustration between a management and the employer. This can be tackled in progression of job withdrawal, theory of job dissatisfaction. Number B, lack of growth. Most good employers quit their job because they feel they doesn't move out in their current position since the day they were hired. Number 6, internal pay equity. Good employer needs good reward compensation. Number D, management. Many employers cite management as their reason for leaving. This can be attributed to over-management people, manager not being fair or playing favorite, lack of or poor communications by manager, and unrealistic expectation of manager. Number E, workload. Some employers feel their workload are too heavy, resulting in employer begin experiencing and lack satisfaction from their job, and possibly lack of work-life balance as a result. There are a number of theories that attempt to describe what makes a satisfied employer versus an unsatisfied employer. While you may have learned about this theory in another class, such as organization behavior, there are worth a review here to help us better understand employer satisfaction from an HR perspective. The progression of the job withdrawal, the Hobson effect in the behavior study, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Herban two-factor theory, X and Y theory by Michael G. Grigg, a character and stick theory. Because time is limited, I will pick Maslow's slide. This is the most widely used by companies in studying employee behavior. In 1943, Abraham Maslow developed what was known as the theory of human motivation. His theory was developing in an attempt to explain human motivation according to Maslow. There's a hierarchy of five needs, and as one level of need is satisfied, you will no longer be motivated. In other words, people start at the bottom of the hierarchies and work their way up. Maslow's hierarchy consists of the following: self-actualization needs, esteem needs, social needs, safety needs, physiological needs. Physiological needs are our most basic needs, include food, water, and shelter. Safety needs at work might include feeling unsafe in the actual physical environment or job security, love and belongings. As humans, we have the basic need of spend time with others. Esteem needs refers to the need we have to feel good about ourselves, self-confidence. Finally, the self-actualization needs are the needs we have to better ourselves. The implication of his research tells us, for example, that as long as employees' physiological needs are met, increased pay may not be motivated. Likewise, employers should be motivated at work by having all needs met. Needs might include, for example, fair paid, safety standard at work, opportunity and sociological complement to help raise our esteem, and the training opportunity to further develop ourselves. At the cost of the turnover, losing an employee is called turnover. Turnover can be calculated by the formula provided. For example, let's assume there was 3 separation during the month of August and the 155 employee mid-month. We can calculate turnover in this scenario by 3 divided 150, and the result is the 2.6% turnover rate. In HR, we can separate the cost associated with the turnover into direct cost and the indirect cost. The direct turnover costs include the cost of living, replacement cost, and the transmission cost, while indirect turnover costs include the loss of production and the reduced performance. To avoid these costs, development of the retention plans is an important function of the HR strategy plan. Retention plans outline the strategy the organization will use to reduce turnover and adjust employee motivation. Number 6, managing turnover. A well-rounded gameplay for successfully managing turnover can help everyone in your firm, from new hires to seasoned process, as engaged in the job satisfaction growth, productivity, and the employee retention improve, and the issues like absence, sting, and the burnout diminish. Number 1, find the right fit. If your company makes wait street, don't rush to hire the first applicant who walks into the door with street. Making experience, have the needs job skill is essential, of course, but it's only part of the what makes someone is good fit for your firm. Number 2, practice smart onboarding. Getting your new employees off a good start help them go to distant. According to the Whitehurst Group, new employers who went through structured onboarding program were 58% more likely to be with the organization after 3 years. Number 3, use employee recognition strategy. It's human nature. We like to do things that we are rewarded for. And who doesn't enjoy being appreciated, reward, and recognition? Show your people exactly what your company values about their behavior and help guide them to succeed. fostering job satisfaction and loyalty. And that's all. Thank you for listening.